Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Weekend Winners in association with BetVictor. This is your go-to show for your best bets ahead of the weekend. And this weekend we have the jump season finale. We'll be previewing some top Grade 1 and handicap action from both Sandown and Punchestown. But before normal progress can resume, you may have noticed something looks a little bit different here because I am currently on my lonesome in the studio. But fear not, because Sam Boswell of BetVictor and Declan Bricks of @theraces.com do join me via the power of Skype though. But Sam, another work trip away, is it?
Yeah, been enjoying 3 days of Perth up here. It's absolutely fantastic. It's a must-visit festival. Been really impressed. My first visit to Perth, and yeah, the odd Perth pint scooped in with a few winners as well. It's been a fantastic trip and loads to get excited about this weekend as well.
Very well done. And I'm pleased that you are doing Perth properly and exactly how it should be done. We did advise you well, so I'm happy you took us up on that. And Declan, where in the world do we find you this week?
I'm back home for a friend's wedding this week, so apologies for not being in the studio. Another good man gone, but hopefully a couple of winners will make up for that.
Yeah, well, hopefully so at least anyway for all of us, because we do have some cracking jump action to look forward to. But before we do that, a reminder to please do gamble responsibly, that our tips are not guaranteed to win, but we will still do our best to point you in the right direction anyway. And do also remember to like and subscribe to the @theraces YouTube channel so you never miss an episode. Right, let's crack on with the racing, because up first we have the Grade 1 Celebration Chase over a mile 7 at 140. We only have the 5 runners here, but it is still fascinating. John Bon heads the way as a 6-5 market leader as he takes on Open Company for the first time, but he does have defending champion Grenadine in here, Declan. So who wins it for you?
Yeah, he does. Fair play to Nicky Henderson for having a go here in Open Company. It's something that we like to see. I think he might have done it with Altior a couple of seasons ago as well. But yeah, for me, it's going to be Grenadine, K-Dam. I'm a little bit surprised that he's not short in the market. I probably just have a marginal favourite, if I'm being honest. This is his race. He's won this race for the last 2 seasons. He's shown some of his best form at Sandown, and the Paul Nicholls yard at the moment are firing at a 23% strike rate. Look, he was well beaten by Edwards in this year's Tingle Creek, but I thought his prep going into that race this season was all wrong. He did far too much when he put up a brilliant performance in the Haldon Gold Cup. But back at his beloved Sandown after a 45-day break, I'm hoping he'll get the job done.
So it's the defending champion for Declan then, Sam, but who are you siding with?
Yeah, I'm being more boring. Just think John Bon wins this. First of all, Nicky Henderson does deserve credit for obviously stepping him into Open Company here, but also this will be his 6th run of the season, and Nicky Henderson seems to get so much stick, doesn't he, about not running his horses enough. Well, I think he's certainly doing that with John Bon, and it is a warm enough renewal, but I thought odds against is a perfectly fair price against this horse that, let's not forget, the only horse beating him is El Fabiolo, who has gone in again this week at Punchestown and looks an absolute superstar. For my money, I thought 6-5 was a very fair price. Grenadine, I can see the angle there. This is his race, I guess, but I'd be concerned about the ground. And also, I think some of those renewals probably not as strong as this one. And I just didn't really fancy the likes of Captain Guinness or Editor de G coming off the back of I think, tough races, really. And as far as I'm concerned, John Bon for me at 6-5, I thought was a cracking price.
I have to agree with you, Sam, where if you say you're being boring, well, I am being very boring as well, because it is John Bon for me too at 6-5, because I just simply think he's the best horse in this race, where I don't think the Open Company 2-mile chases are really all that fantastic, for all that I am Energumine's biggest fan, but taking Energumine on soft ground out of the equation, to be honest with you, I still think Energumine's stablemate El Fabiolo is a better horse anyway, and we're going to see that next season. So I totally agree with you, Sam. The fact that El Fabiolo to beat John Bon actually stands John Bon in even better stead for me anyway. And I do just have a slight concern about the ground. It is currently listed as good, but they are holding an inspection as we record on Friday morning then for the round course for the flat, where it's soft heavy in places. So I'm not entirely sure what to really expect from the ground, but if we do get that better surface, we know that John Bon bounces off of that anyway. And as I say, I'm not that fearful of the fact he got so worked up prior to entry anyway. That is just him. I don't think he's a horse that really is going to be boiling over prior to this race. Anyway, so it is Jonbon for me, Jonbon for Sam, and Declan, you are going Grenadine. Do let us know your own selections for the race in the comments below as we move on to our next race. And this is the Bet365 Gold Cup. This is a handicap chase, a premier handicap chase over 3 mile, 4.5 furlongs at 2:15 again at Sandown. Kitty's Light goes again, just 7 days on from winning the Scottish Grand National. Well tipped up by yourself, Sam. Currently the 3-1 market leader. So Sam, are you siding with him again?
No, I'm going to take him on here, and I know the manner of that victory was very impressive, and I'd love for Connections to see them do the double, but I just feel coming just 7 days later on, I think this is too deep a renewal to be taking 3-1 about that horse, and I'm going to opt to go for Rebels Hill here for Harry Fry, who is a really interesting contender off a mark of 138. Not won this season, which I suppose you could argue would be a concern, but I think the runs that he has put in have been pretty decent. The second last time out, Exeter, over a marathon trip, definitely stands him, I think, in good stead for this. He has won on soft ground, so if we do get, obviously, what we're expecting at Sandown with it being so bad, the ground, I'm not too concerned there. If it dries out, he'll be even better. I think a good to soft surface would be perfect for him. And I just thought off the mark, and I just thought he fits plenty of the trends as well, the age stat as well, and I think he's carrying a nice low weight. I thought he was just the one that I kind of wanted a bit of interest when I'm taking on a favourite that I think could blow the race apart once again. But I'm just too concerned about this coming 7 days after a hard race, whether it looked it or not.
No loyalty at all, Sam. So siding with Rebels Hill, a horse who may have flattered to have deceived on a couple of occasions this season. Not to put any sort of cold water on Sam's selection whatsoever, Declan, but who are you siding with?
Yeah, it's going to be certainly red for me, guys. I'm hoping he can get the job done here, albeit that it's a very competitive race. Look, he's had an excellent season so far. He's won 3 times, and including here at Sandown. That form of beating Gemerad back in January, especially, looking good now. He seems best to me going right-handed as well, and with Frodon running this week, a lot of these horses are going to be running off lovely racing weights. Quailing Quinn takes an extra 5 pounds off as well. So he's just going to carry 10 stone 5. So, yeah, certainly red for me in the big one. Please.
Seeing as you asked so nicely, we will happily give you certainly red. Now, we're all disagreeing in this race because I am with Ansam, a horse who I've had a tricky relationship with, I think it's fair to say, this season. He was so impressive at Kempton 3 starts back where he just dominated from the front, got into that wonderful jumping rhythm. He couldn't back it up, though, on his next start over that same course and distance. I sided with him then, and I basically knew my fate in the first 5 yards because there was an awful lot of pace pressure. He just went a million, couldn't sustain it. But his previous form was very smart, though, where he had the reopposing Kitty's Light in behind. Amber likes a tile tapper as well. But last time out, he proved that he doesn't have to just go forwards and make all, that he isn't one-dimensional, because he was happy to take a lead at Ludlow, ran out a convincing winner. Those fences at Ludlow are very tricky to jump, as we know. And I don't think that the £7 rise should really find him out. That prominent running style should really suit him, where I'm concerned about that for Kitty's Light. We tend to see this race going to horses that are ridden prominently. So I'm going to take on Kitty's with Ansam. But Sam, yourself?
Rebels Hill for me, Kate. I have no loyalty, clearly.
No, clearly not. Well, at least we've established that now. Declan?
Oh, certainly red for me. I think I was on mute. I'm an idiot.
We will forgive you. We will definitely we'll forgive you if he wins anyway, but that's the only pressure now for you. Right, we move away from Sandown now and we are over to Punchestown. We're crossing the Irish Channel for some top quality action that we've been seeing all week as well. But we start with the Mares Hurdle. This is the Grade 1 Mares Champion Hurdle over 2 mile 3 at 3:50. Lots of talented mares in here from both Britain and Ireland, Declan. It's great to see clashes like this away from Cheltenham though, isn't it? But who wins it?
Well, I'm hoping Echoes and Rain wins it. I'm surprised she's such a big price difference between her and Love Envoy. Now, that's probably maybe based on the Cheltenham run, but the Mayor's race this year was a hugely tactical race. I thought the two best rides in that race were Rachel Blackmore on Honeysuckle and Johnny Burke on Love Envoy. You know, if you were held up in that race, you had no chance, to be honest. But I still thought Echoes and Rain shaped a little bit better than the distance beaten. She was held up a long way off the pace. She's run well here at Punchestown before. She's won here she was second here to Honeysuckle last season over 2 miles, and then she won the season before. There's an awful lot to like about her. And look, Willie Mullins at the Punchestown Festival is just the way to go. I'm hoping Paul Townend can work his magic, that he can just settle her. He did a brilliant job on Gaelic Warrior during the week, I thought. So I'm hoping he can do the same here with Echoes and Rain, who hopefully get some pace to run at.
Yeah, that settling is really key for her, isn't it? And especially then to be getting this trip. But it's Echoes and Rain then for Declan. Sam, where are you looking?
Yeah, Love Envoy for me nearly pulled off the miracle of getting the better of Honeysuckle and breaking everyone's heart at the Cheltenham Festival. Doesn't get the services of obviously Johnny Burke because he's out injured, but I think Danny Mullins is an excellent jockey booking for this particular run. And I definitely think he'll suit her if he kicks on from the front. Like, I think this horse is best ridden. She's only had the 3 runs this season because she has wanted that slightly easier ground, which has been quite hard to find in Britain this season. And I think that means it should be nice. I think the break from the festival as well, obviously that distance, 46 days, I'm not worried about that. I know it was a hard race, but I definitely think she'll have had plenty of time to recover, and being fairly lightly raced this season for Harry Fry, I think she's got an excellent chance. She obviously travelled over last year and ended up second in the novice version of this last year, and I think shows that she can handle the trip over. And I just really like her. I think as a horse she's incredibly likeable. She nearly did me a huge turn, and I think she'll go one better and get the win in Ireland this time.
And again, we're in agreement, Sam, because I am with Love Envoy as well. And as you say, she has proven that she can travel as well. So hopefully everything will be in her favour. She is just solid. Now, we talk about Sandown's ground. I do hope that Punchestown doesn't go the other way and that it becomes just a bit too quick for her, because we've seen that it has been quickening up throughout the entirety of the week. That's my real only concern for her, because she is just so consistent. And Declan, I do agree with you to a large extent there, where it was tactical, the mare's hurdle, and the fact that she did just get a really optimal ride. But that defeat to Honeysuckle's better than any of her wins for me in terms of form. The RPRs would back that up as well. And just looking at her competition, I'm not entirely sure what is going to beat her, because, sorry, Declan, but for me, Echoes and Rain is still an out-and-out 2-miler because of those keen-going tendencies. Queensbrook, she's wonderful, she's genuine, she's really likeable. I think she probably wants even further. I'd say they won't want to get this into a bit of a tactical, letting it Love Envoy dictate on the front end. I'd say Queensbrook's going to probably try and turn this into enough of a stamina test, but I don't know if she's going to have the pace to live with her. And then the likes of Brandy Love, I mean, she is just an oddball, isn't she? She still has that tendency to jump out to a left rule, that her best career performances come on right-handed tracks. So I'm trying to filter through the competition, and I'm not entirely sure which of those is going to beat her. So it is Love Envoy for me and for Sam. And Declan, you are taking us both on with Echoes in Rain. Now, again, do let us know your own selections for the Mayor's Champion Hurdle in the comment section. Now, later on Punchestown's card, we have the juveniles up, because it is the Grade 1 Champion 4-year-old hurdle for 2-year-olds at 5 o'clock. We have a Triumph Hurdle winner, Lossiemouth, bidding to show that she is the best juvenile around once again. So these 4-year-olds going to post, though, Sam. What is the best bet for you?
Well, Kate, as far as I'm concerned, Lossiemouth, I still think is a cut above these. She's proven it, hasn't she, throughout the season. The only time she was beaten was that incredibly unlucky run at the Dublin Racing Festival, where, if anything, I upgraded her for the way that she managed to end up getting second that day. She put things right at the Cheltenham Festival and to my money, looked a very impressive winner that day. The only thing that would concern me, I suppose, looking through the field, is the fact that this is the end of season. We've seen some strange results at Punchestown over the years, and I'm sure that will continue to be the thing when you've got younger horses as well. That probably puts me off, I suppose, steaming in at 8 to 11. But for my money, she's definitely the most likely winner here, and I think she'll put another performance in. I'm very curious to see what connections do with her next year, but we'll save the Willie Mullins guessing games for when she's won another race this season, and then we'll start plotting through the summer where we think he'll send her, and I'll probably be very wrong.
We need a summer break, to be fair, just to get over playing Willie Mullins bingo and just to stop all of our heads from being scrambled for a few months at least anyway. But Lossiemouth, bank of material then for Sam, Declan. Who are you siding with?
Yeah, look, I can see exactly why Sam has sided with Lossiemouth. Look, she is the horse to beat, absolutely no doubt about that. I just thought at the prices, maybe Gala Marceau was more of a bet. She's an interesting horse, this filly. When she made her debut against Lossiemouth in the Nike Frank Juvenile at the start of the season, she was heavily backed against Lossiemouth, and then she obviously beat her at the Dublin Racing Festival. For all, Lossiemouth had a nightmare trip that day. And then just the triumph, look, again, she ran very well for me. I thought the triumph this season was a real start-stop gallop. They started off really strongly run, but on the run from the top of the hill down to two out, there was a massive drop in pace, and I just thought Lossiemouth was in a better tactical position to capitalise. Gala Marceau then ran into a little bit of traffic and had to switch wide, which meant Lossiemouth got a dream run up against the rail, which is probably a big help to these young horses. Just, it's a different day, a different track. I thought at the prices, Gala Marceau was just worth a little bit at the prices. So there is not much of her. And as Sam said earlier in the piece there, it's hard to have kind of confident opinions this time of the year because it's coming to the end of the season. But although she's quite small, I think she's very hardy. I think, she's a hardy nature. I think she'll back up and run a race. Well, I hope she will anyway. So just at the prices, I thought Gala Marceau was the bet. But look, absolutely no doubt about it, Lossiemouth is the horse to beat.
Yeah, and again, like you've both just said there, Lossiemouth is definitely the one to beat. But I agree with you, Declan, where I think she is just priced up accordingly. And with the 8 runners going to post here, I want to try and take advantage of the each-way play in this race. And the each-way play for me, a horse that's been quite readily dismissed in the market here, is Nusret. He's a horse who I've liked for an awful long time here. Now, last time out, I did side with him at Aintree, but I knew that the writing was on the wall from quite an early stage because the pace was really holding up on the hurdle track at Aintree. They didn't go much of a gallop whatsoever in that race, and Nusret took up his customary role, being dropped out. All he did, though, was stay on in the closing stages, so the bias just worked out against him. I think he's a better horse right-handed anyway, bouncing off a sound surface, and his jumping has just improved with each of his starts as well. So, as I say, he's been quite easily dismissed in the market, a horse that's won over this course and distance as well. So, given about 14-1 about Nusret, that will happily be the each-way play for me. For end-of-season races, for a 4-year-old, fillies at the head of the market, I'm just not entirely sure I'd want to play that, but Nusret each way for me. Sam?
Oh, it's Lossiemouth for me. You two are trying to be far too clever here.
Try being the optimal word there, though, Declan. And who are you being clever with?
Yes, I'm going to be clever with Gala Marceau, who I hope can go a bit of va-va-voom.
Oh, like it a lot then. Right, again, do let us know your own selections for the 4-year-old race in the comments section below. Now, usually we'd be heading over to the Skypad to give you our best bets for the weekend, but the lads aren't moving, so neither am I. Stay tuned for our best bets. Now it is time to nail our colours to the mast. It is our best bets for the weekend, so our nap, next best and our long shot. Now, Declan, you are up first, please.
Right, first we're going to go nap. We're going to go 305 Leicester Almubeer. William Buick doesn't have any Godolphin rides this week, so I'd imagine he's been a man in high order. He could have gone anywhere. I find it very interesting he's gone to Leicester in the 305. He's going to ride Almubeer. Trainer William Haggis, this chestnut son of Frankel, is a horse very much at home on soft and heavy ground, was progressive at the end of last season. The ground, I think, has gone heavy at Leicester. That won't bother him a jot. All I want now is a little bit of pace for him to run out there. I'm hoping Alexander James and Wob take each other on and set the race up for him. So that's going to be the nap. The next best then is going to be William Haggis again. We've got our William Haggis PJs on this week, and we're going for Montezip in the 345 at Haydock. He was my fancy in the Lincoln, if you remember, but I just think that the ground at Doncaster that day was just crazy soft. It was proper. It was nearly national hunt heavy. I'm willing to give him another chance at a track he's run well at here. Again, I do think with him dropping in trip, the pace is going to be key here. So I'm hoping the likes of Guidor and Biggles can take each other on up front and set it up for him. And then the each way selection is going to be certainly Red, who we already covered earlier in the show. So those are going to be the top 3 bets for me this weekend.
Like it a lot then, but you do definitely have one eye on the flat season, don't you, with a couple of those flat horses to go to all with at Leicester and Haydock. Now, Sam, your own best bets, please.
Yeah, don't worry, Kate. I'm clinging on to the jump season like a man possessed, and I'll have to turn into full flat mode next week. But we'll kick off with my nap, which is John Bon. I just, at this stage, think he's probably my best bet of the weekend. Will he get stuck in the mud? I don't think so. I think that course will dry out. Friday's due to be dry. And I'm fingers crossed that he will put in his place the slightly more experienced company he's in. Now, the shunter will be, I think, around, looking at our tissue prices, just shy of a double-figure price, 8, 9 to 1, maybe 10 to 1. People might think, why am I putting this up? Well, it's quite interesting, isn't it, that Emmett Mullins, I think it's fair to say we've learned an awful lot about in the recent years, just how creative he is as a trainer in terms of his entries. This race has been doubled up with the Galway Festival Hurdle, which is offering a significant bonus for anyone that can win this race at Punchestown and then go on to win that. The shunter is a horse that's run through the summer. He's run well in the plate, actually, going back through the form book. I think he can be just as effective back over hurdles off his current mark, and I think he'll put up a huge run for trying to chase down that bonus, but he'll need to win the first leg at Punchestown, which I think he's capable of doing off the back of a reasonable run last time out. The long shot comes at Sandown in their opening race. It's our crew 4, Lucy Wadham, who's in fine form, had a double recently, seems to be coming to life at the moment. Bryony Frost Rise. Bryony's having a good season so far, and recently seems to have really been riding quite well. I think she's hitting about a 25% strike rate at time of recording. The horse himself just got touched off at Newbury by a horse that's since won at Kempton. I think can be effective on the easier ground and is relatively unexposed. Over hurdles, was a decent flat horse in his time with William Jarvis as well. So those are my 3 best bets. Best of luck for the weekend. Looking forward to hearing your selections, Kate.
Oh, thank you so much, Sam. And very good cases made for your 3 selections as well. But my own best bets then for the weekend, starting out with my nap, because I cannot believe I'm getting odds against About Hewick in the Grade 2 Oaksey Chase. This, for me, he is just a horse who is a cut above his rivals in this. And 6 to 4 is an absolute gimme. He's a wonderful horse. He's been so enterprisingly campaigned. I'm glad they've elected to declare him for this Grade 2 rather than the Bet365 Chase, which he won last year, because I think that looks tougher than this, to be honest. And I know he took a perler of a fall last time out in the Gold Cup, but he's such a hardy horse. He's shown in the past, even when belting fences throughout a race, that it doesn't do much to dent his confidence anyway. So I'm not put off by that. He's simply the best horse in the race, back at a track that he ran so well last year. My next bet is Ansam, who we've mentioned before in the Bet365 Gold Cup at 2:15 at Sandown. I think his running style should suit Sandown's chase track and this race, and he proved at Ludlow last time out. He doesn't have to make or can take a lead and can defy the £7 rise as judged on the impressive performance from last time out. And my long shot is actually going to be Power of Pause, which is admittedly in a very competitive handicap hurdle at Punchestown at 5:30. Now, this is a horse who hopefully will be rewarding Connection's patience at some point. I actually met this horse at Cheltenham 2 years ago. He came over for that race, but he didn't get a run. He just sort of came over for a holiday, really. They elected not to run him, sent him back. He had a couple more starts then in the spring before he had nearly a 2-year layoff. And last time out, I thought he shaped really well. He was a big price for that, and he just looked as though he blew up, but he travelled into it in really good style. So hopefully he'll come forwards for that. 21 days to hopefully avoid the bounce factor. That is going to be a concern, but I'm expecting to get enough of a price about him in what is a hugely competitive race. So they are my 3 best bets for the weekend. Thank you so much to Sam and to Declan for all of their hard work. Sam, enjoy the rest of Perth. Declan, come back home in one piece next week, please. I actually have a flight to catch myself. I'm off to Punchestown in a second, so I better make some shapes. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching. Again, do let us know your own best bets for the weekend. And do remember to look at the attheraces.com website and the ATR app this weekend to cover all of your betting needs. We'll be back next week where we will be previewing the Guineas. You really don't want to miss that one.